being over there.
Huh?
I'm used to being over there.
Oh, behind the camera? So with that, like when you're, here's your coffee. When you're on set, or like when you're shooting for your movies, are you like having to direct and everything like that as well?
Yeah, I for this one, like that's what I want to do is like writer director. I don't, because like a lot of the best movies are made by people that are like also writing it.
Yeah.
Like there's people like Spielberg or like Scorsese that are like obviously like probably the best we'll ever see that usually don't actually fully write their own scripts,
Right.
but they have like a heavy hand in it. But then there's people that are like Chris Nolan or like Tarantino or something where like it's their vision from like the initial idea of just like literally being an idea to like what you see on the screen.
Yeah.
Which I think is really sick.
I think that's awesome because, like, yeah, I mean, like, if you can just have a vision and it's fully fleshed out, like, to be able to have full creative control over that,
Yeah.
produces something really special that, like, a lot of movies that have a ton of collaboration on them and, like, a ton of different competing ideas for the vision, like just don't have, you know?
Yeah, it's like I guess like the biggest example I could say is like something like maybe like Deadpool 3. Like
Yeah.
I thought that was like a disaster of a movie because like you could tell that there was like the corporate side of it, and it's like they literally had like 7 writers on that movie. Like it's in the credits.
Yeah.
Like there's like 7 writers, and that's insane. I don't
Yeah.
really think you should have more than like maybe 2.
No, yeah.
And like that's like the Coen brothers. Like they're the maybe the exception to the rule, where like they write and direct together,
Yeah.
and everything they make is just phenomenal. So there's that, but then there's like, I would say 9 times out of 10, if you see a movie that has like 8, 7, not even that, like 5+ writers, that's just insane. Even if it's like 3 writers, it's usually like you can tell it's just like a bad movie.
Right, yeah. How does that even work when you're like writing with multiple people? Are you both sitting down together, or are you like taking turns, or like...
I honestly have no knowledge of that yet. I hope I don't ever.
Yeah.
Because like, unless I did like a TV show or something, that's way different. But like, for a movie, I think it's just insane to have your own idea, and then like I get talking to other people and like having them read it and say like, yeah, that's good, or I didn't like that or something. But I remember hearing Bill Hader say that about writing, where for film and TV, where he was like, if you give somebody your script to read it and they say something is bad, they're usually right. But when they start to tell you how to fix it, you have to just kind of like tune them out because they're usually wrong.
That's
like,
interesting.
Like you have to fix your own idea.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I really subscribe to that because like I had a lot of issues with the like writing the ending scene for this short, and I finally got to a good point with it. And I had my uncle read it, who's like really into film, and he always wanted to write also.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's the only person I've had read it that just like absolutely hates how it ends. Everybody else really enjoys it. And I was listening to him because I was like, well, he's the only person who's told me he doesn't like it. So I was trying to hear him out.
Yeah.
But then like his idea for how to fix it was just like truly horrible. I was like, all right, I can't listen to that. But like, I guess some people aren't going to like how it ends maybe. But yeah.
So what did you like pick up in terms of value from like what he had to say? Like, did you go back and see the ending and see like, okay, I think I know what he's getting from it?
Yeah, I understood because he explained it thoroughly. Okay. I don't want to like ruin the ending.
Yeah,
but, like,
yeah.
He explained his reasoning, and I was like, I totally get that. It's just that I think the like shock value of it, because it's like a twist. I think that really adds to it, because like I've had probably 40 people read it in total, and all of them except for him were like, I really like that ending. Like it just comes out of nowhere, and it really like just kind of like nails the film on the, like nails it on the head, kind of like it's the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, I appreciate that because it is, I'm sure you know that with music, like when you're writing something, you're so in your own head until other people hear it.
Yeah.
And then you're just hoping that they like it.
Yeah.
So it's good when they do. Like,
No, yeah.
yeah. So that's something also is I try to be really appreciative when people say that like they like something I write because it's, I'm sure you run into it with music too. Like there's a lot of people who have like insane egos and they're like, yeah, I know it's good because it's just like I'm the best and I'm God's gift to this thing that I'm doing. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But like with like anything creative, like a lot of times you're always gonna get a ton of those like big egos just because of how, I guess, difficult it is to like break through and actually be something great. So like if you're somebody who just wants to be at the top of like a certain industry, like
Yeah.
whether it's film or anything like that, like there's so many people who are gonna think that it's them who's gonna make it to that point at that stage, and like some people like will prematurely have that like identity because they already think that's gonna be them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of talking to Sam about this the other night. Like, I totally get why people have like an ego because I think that to make it in like a creative industry, you have to have a certain level of self-belief because like it's that like quote I see all over Instagram kind of where it's like you have to believe in yourself for others to believe in what you're doing. And but I think that some people take that and they're like just amplifying it way too much and it's just kind of like unbearable to be around sometimes.
Yeah, especially when they can't see like that they're not at that level yet in terms of quality or in terms of like, what they're able to do. Like it's one thing to say like I totally believe in myself to be that in the future, but like to not recognize that you're not there yet, it's hard to like be around somebody like that.
Yeah, because like that's something I've really always enjoyed is like the process of it because I think it's been really fun just like learning more and more about like the stuff behind the camera, how the camera works. Like that's been the great thing about doing the short film is like I really knew nothing about like how a camera worked or how to like set up lights or anything and or how sound worked and all that. But now I'm learning all that because like Sam introduced me to these great people like Ari, who is the DP, and then Jack, who we work with. I don't know if you've met him. He's doing the sound. They're in a relationship. They're like a power couple behind the camera. It's insane.
That's cool.
Yeah, they just know exactly what they're doing. And she's taught me a lot about like how things could actually work with the camera. Because sometimes when you're writing, because I didn't have that knowledge that I'm now getting, when I was writing before, it was easy to just like get way too ahead of myself. And then like now having actually worked on a set somewhat and all that, you kind of have an idea of like when you're writing, like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do that because one, I probably don't have the money for that. Or two, it's just like not feasible to do that.
Yeah.
And you have to start thinking about like how locations work and how the lighting is, like even the natural lighting in something, like in an apartment, like if we shot here, like how that would play into it, or like, there's just so many little things that are just so cool to learn about.
Yeah.
That like you can read about it, and I have it, but it's just like way different getting to actually experience it and like learn about it firsthand from people who know more than you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And before we jump into that, I want to introduce you first. So we give some context here. So we have Kyle Barding. He is a filmmaker, and somebody told me that you do stand-up comedy as well.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to be a stand-up comedian. Yeah.
That is so awesome. So we got a double threat here. Kyle Barding, and he's working on his first short film. And so you just spoke a little bit about like the people who you have like helping you make this film. And so how did you sort of assemble this team? How did you find a team that was willing to support you on this vision?
Well, I owe a lot, like pretty much all of that to Sam. Like I was kind of.
Who's Sam?
Oh, Sam Stapp. that we,
Well, yeah,
you and
I
I
know.
were. Yeah, sorry, I forget. But yeah, he's an actor, and he's a really good friend of mine. And meeting him through work has like completely changed like the trajectory of where I'm headed. Because before I was kind of like just like running around in circles, going like, where do I assemble this team of people that I need?
Yeah.
And I was looking at like backstage and uh, all these different places where you can like put up ads for a crew and all that. And I was like, but I don't know any of these people. Like that's gonna be annoying trying to talk to them.
Yeah.
And then I started talking to Sam because he was telling me that he's an actor, and I was like, well, I need an actor. So I got him on board, and that was like off the checklist. And then he read the script and really liked it, and he sent it to the girl who ended up starring in it. Her name's Isabella. She's a really good actress. She's so good.
Oh, cool.
And he sent it to her, and then they sent it to a couple other people, and like because of him, I assembled the entire actor crew, and then also the DP, like the director of photography. She is dating Jack, who is friends with Sam.
Okay.
And so he introduced me to them, and they thankfully have like all their equipment already because they work on so many things.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it's just like it all lined up perfectly to happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I owe it all to Sam.
Yeah. That's really awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, and Sam's acting in it as well, right?
Yeah, he plays the lead girl's boyfriend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm hoping to get him on sometime in the future as well. And,
Oh, I'm sure he'd love to. Yeah.
yeah, it'd be cool to like get the other perspective of like working on your film, like especially after it comes out. Like watching it, I think it's gonna be so cool to like know all the sides of that. But yeah, so it seems like everybody just was really on board after like reading the script. Like it seemed like everybody felt gravitated towards it. So like, what about this story is special to you, and that might also shed some light on what other people found that was special that made them want to like, be a part of it?
I think a lot of it, and like, admittedly, it's kind of hard for me to like talk about myself in like a congratulatory way. Like, it's super appreciative.
But what makes you excited about it?
Yeah, like, but I think what is so personal about the story is that it's like my own story and kind of like a chunk of my life that like a point of my life that I was in about a year or two ago. And I just kind of like took that and adapted it to make it a better story for a movie. So it's like 20% reality, and then the rest, or maybe like 15% reality, and then the rest is just all like elevating it and like making it way different than what the real story is. Because it's about this comedian who's kind of not sure which way she's headed because she's had success, but it's kind of like dwindling and her material is dwindling, and she doesn't really know what to do, if she should give up or if she should like go do what she went to college for, or if she should keep grinding at it with stand-up, but like she's also neglecting other parts of her life, and it's like this day in her life that just like everything implodes on her. And there's the twist at the end that I'm hoping people like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's awesome. Yeah, from just hearing that like synopsis, like it feels like a lot of people can relate to that, especially here in LA. Like just being a creative and like wanting something to work so badly, it's such a hard process, and like there's so many things that go along the way, day to day, like just in your regular job, trying to support your dreams and things like that. Like there's so many stresses you have to deal with. So that makes sense why like those people would want to like create that story. So like speak more on like collaboration. You talked about lighting and things like that. What sort of like How are you using lighting in this film to tell the story? What kind of effect are you going for? What kind of mood are you going for?
Um, a lot of it comes from I've kind of just let Ari do her thing because she just knows more than me about
Yeah.
like what she's doing, and I guess that's part of being a director is what I've learned is like you have your idea and then you have to go find people that understand what you want, and then you also have to give them free reign to do their thing.
Yeah.
Because she knows more than I do, and she's teaching me a lot just by watching her do what she does. And I think it would be ignorant of me to watch her do what she's doing and just like start demanding other things,
Yeah.
because what she's doing is working really well, and I love everything that I see, like when I'm watching the screen or like when I just see it in real time. So there's no point for me to just like get the ego boost of being like, oh, I'm the director and I want to change it purely because I need my voice to be heard.
Right.
Which I think is why that applies to a lot. Like even just at work, like there's always people, or like any job you have anywhere in life, there's always people that just need their voice to be heard. And I think it just makes people like not want to be around you because it's like, yeah, bro, you don't gotta.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Because everybody has a voice, and like when you have one person who like just needs everything to go their way, like
Yeah.
you're not making room for all this like amazing stuff that could be shown as well, like the knowledge that they have and experience that they have to bring. So yeah, like what kind of questions will she ask, and like what kind of direction will she look for in the script or from you to sort of guide her decision making in terms of setting the lighting?
I think overall for her work, something that we do to collaborate is each scene. I give her like a shot breakdown of what I see, how I want to see the camera move and all that. And then she just knows how to actually do that. So I'll just like go through the scene as if because something that I heard that I've really been trying to adapt with directing is like directing for your edit. So like you're mentally preparing for how you're gonna edit it. You're not just shooting all over the place, and then when you get to editing, you're like, how do I make this coherent?
Yeah.
So that's something I've been trying to do is think about like from an editing standpoint, every shot that I do or that I want, I try to like think about each cut. So I'll give her like the shot list, and then she'll just be like, okay, we can do that, or we can't do that, or something. Or but we honestly haven't even come across that yet,
Really?
where we can't do something, because I have been keeping in mind that it's easy to get ahead of yourself. I've written some things where I'm like, yeah, you can't make that yet, dude. You don't have millions of dollars.
No, yeah.
So,
Yeah, like are you like anxious about the editing process at all, and like what it's gonna be like editing that? Or do you anticipate like are you editing it yourself?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have other people, including Ari and maybe someone else, like just have people like, because it will be my first time editing. Like I am thinking about it already, like
Yeah.
how I'm gonna edit it, but I'm gonna just kind of have people like maybe look over my shoulder and tell me like, oh, that doesn't look that good, or like maybe you should do this instead, because I am still trying to learn about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it might be best if I just do the editing. One, because I am broke,
Yeah.
and number two, because I really want to learn about it. And that's
Yeah.
like what the main thing with this short film has been, is like I really love making it, and I hope a bunch of people do get to see it, maybe. But it's just like it's been really fun, like actually learning how to do all this. It's almost been like somewhat of a film school.
Yeah.
So it's like an initiation into filmmaking, of making your first thing and
Yeah.
learning what you can and can't do and what you need to be better at, and just everything about it, like top to bottom. It's been really cool.
It is so cool, by the way. Like the fact that you're making your own film, like that is incredible. And the fact that you have a bunch of people who like are willing to help you with that, like, and who believe in it, that's such an accolade to have already. That's really cool. I think that editing is really cool because it really does have so much power in terms of storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that you are going to go and edit it and like take the time to learn that and get that experience, because I do think editing changes so much how people perceive the story, and what you're able to say. So out of all the other aspects of production, like you as the director doing editing, I think is a really powerful thing. Yeah. Are there any like directors or storytellers who you've heard like talk about editing that inspire you at all, or are you just like jumping in headfirst to a new field?
I think like the number one example for maybe a lot of filmmakers, at least from my standpoint, would be probably Scorsese, because he and his editor, her name is Thelma, I know it's Thelma, but her last name I've heard it pronounced so many different ways. I think it's like Schoonmaker or Shoemaker. They've worked together for like, I think basically his entire career, and she's probably the best editor ever. And you can just see it. Like, well, I guess you can't see it because like they say the best editing, like you just don't notice it.
Yeah.
But like I've been really trying to watch his movies, and I've been trying to watch her talk about it. I've been trying to find like clips of her talking about it, and I just go look for movies that I think have like really great just like pacing, because that's something that I'd really like to get down, is like the ability to like keep or slow down or set a pace with editing. Because like if you watch Wolf of Wall Street, that's another Scorsese one, like it's like 3 hours long, but it feels like it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because it just like it moves and slows down in such a perfect way that it just like you just don't notice it, but it's edited like perfectly. And like, or Casino, like it's just like you said, like editing really might be. I really think editing might be what is like the true like number one thing for filmmaking, because you can like destroy a great movie in editing.
It's so true.
You can destroy a podcast in editing.
Yeah.
And I also, from the acting standpoint, that's something I've been trying to learn more about, is like how actors work and how to work with them and how to talk to them like as an actor, and not like giving them a bunch of like ridiculous notes and stuff. Like I've heard a lot of great actors say that they just need like the most simple direction, and they're just like, yeah, I get it, I'll just go do that.
Yeah.
They don't need like an hour breakdown of like, this is why they would do that.
Right. Yeah. So, and you get them like bringing something unique to the table when they do that. It's like their natural reaction to that scenario. Otherwise, like they're just thinking of like every single step along the way. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of like directing actors, do you find it difficult to like keep doing like reshoots or like demanding certain things over like a crew at this stage? Like what's it like being closer to these people and like knowing these people more personally? Does it make certain things more challenging or easier?
No, not. I haven't run into anything difficult yet, because we all know each other. We're all really cool with each other. We don't have any like, I haven't had any like diva problems yet, I guess. Or anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like just letting them do their thing, because like I wouldn't have said yes to it. As arrogant as this may sound, I wouldn't have said yes to having them in my movie if I didn't believe that they could act good.
Yeah.
So like, and I don't think that they would have gone into the movie if they didn't think that what I wrote was good. It goes both ways.
Absolutely.
So like, I just have full belief in like Sam's ability or Isabella's ability or DJ. That's another one of Sam's friends that was in it.
Oh, cool.
He really killed it. He's in one scene. He just knocked it out of the park.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like he came in, just had everything ready, and it was just done and gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just killed it. And something I heard Tarantino say that Harvey Keitel taught him was with actors is you just let them, don't give them any notes really. You just kind of let them do what they have in their head when they're reading it. And like, cause like an adjustment is like the easiest thing to give is what he said. And I was like, that makes perfect sense. Like you don't need to give them everything if you just let them do what they want. And that's what I've done is I haven't been like super overbearing or anything. I've just kind of let them do it how they're seeing it.
Yeah.
And like, I think there's only been like one time where we were in a rehearsal or something and I said like I would prefer it this way or something like that. But yeah, like I just kind of let them do their thing and I have been sticking by that. Like an adjustment's the easiest thing to give. If I really don't like something, I'll just say that. But luckily I haven't had that yet.
Yeah.
Because they're all just doing a really great job.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. Like I was watching, like there's both sides of the spectrum, obviously, and I was watching like a video on like David Fincher and how he does like he'll do like 100 takes for like one shot sometimes. Like, would you say you're on the opposite end of the spectrum and you're just like you just want to just like capture things like as naturally as possible and like. Or would you say like you're kind of a perfectionist? And by perfectionist, I don't mean like in a better way, but like just like you see it a specific way and you need to have it that way.
I think that for Fincher's thing, it's like he's on a way bigger production. Like right now, with how small it is, it's just like being considerate of everybody's time.
Yeah.
And like we do the first take and then we'll always do maybe one or two more just for like safety.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've been doing. Like usually I like what I see in one and I don't entirely see a need. There's only been like a couple times where I think we've had to like actually go again because like a line got fumbled or something. That's all.
Yeah.
So I mean, those guys are all amazing, like Kubrick and Fincher. Like they all are notorious for doing an insane amount of takes, and I'm sure there's a reasoning behind that. I've never really grasped what it is. I think they just see things differently. Like those guys are just like built different.
Yeah.
They're like for having an eye as a director. I don't. Some people say that Kubrick was just like being a dick sometimes. Like maybe that's why he was getting people to do like the notorious one with like Shelley Duvall where he made her go up and down the stairs like 102 times or something like that in The Shining. I think that's the number. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like there's things like that where it's been said that he was doing it just to be an asshole. So like maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But maybe there is a reason he had to do it 102 times. So
Yeah.
Like so far I haven't really had any needs to go like 6 times. I know Clint Eastwood does that where he's just like he does one and that's it. And like actors will be like, "Can we go again?" And he's like, "Why? You want to waste everybody's time?"
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of it is because like either way you choose it, you're right, and like as long as the end product is good, like that's what matters. And I think it's definitely interesting, like considering what you have to work with and what you said about like you do have a small crew and like everybody's time is going to be split with like having full-time jobs and like a lot other things to do than like what they're passionate about necessarily, and like gauging what your budget is and whether that's time or money for a project seems like something that's very difficult because you don't want to like be so overly ambitious and then like everything just falls apart.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the beginning stages of this project. Like, once everybody sort of said, okay, I want to be a part of this, how did you go ahead and say, like, this is how much time I'm going to budget for this, like, this is how I'm going to organize it?
It's kind of been a little all over the place because we're all working with each other's schedules. And luckily, things have moved along pretty fast because the first 2 times we've shot, we used like people's apartments that we knew. Like we used Sam's for the first day of shooting, and then for this last time we shot, we did it at Jack's, the sound guy. We shot at his apartment, which made it easier than going out and finding a location and like having to pay for it. So that saved a lot of time and money because we could just go there and do it and just be done with it.
Yeah.
But now, for example, like there's a stand-up scene in it, and like a kind of a double header scene, and we're shooting that at like the Hollywood Improv, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
So we've been working on getting that, and luckily the star of it, Isabella, she got that hooked up for us.
Oh, cool.
So that's gonna be really sick, like being on like a real location, especially a comedy club like that.
It automatically like gives the audience will see that credibility. Yeah.
I hope it comes across that way because that'll be really sick. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, like you were saying, I kind of got off topic, but it hasn't been like too much of a challenge. We've been shooting since like June, I think, but that's because like everybody just had like you said, just different things going on. Like everybody had like summer vacations or summer classes or projects or anything going on, or like I was just broke one time and I couldn't afford like a location, which is why we ended up going to Jack's for that shoot or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that come up, but it's been a really cool, like fun time hanging out with everybody and doing the shoot and all that. So I haven't been upset about it or anything that it's taken time. Everybody's got other things going on, you know?
Yeah. And you definitely don't want to rush it, especially because you've told me that you want to like take this to festivals. And what are some of the festivals that you got your eye on right now?
Pretty much all of them, because like it's kind of hard to get into any of them. So I'm just gonna submit to like pretty much anyone I can.
Yeah.
And just hope that it gets seen by somebody that likes it and they want to bring it on to the lineup or whatever. Because I think it'd be pretty cool to maybe, if I could get into it, go with like Sam or something to Austin, Texas, and go to the Austin Film Festival. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Or like even the film festival they do in Venice or Beverly Hills here. That one's really cool. And it's just, I just think it'd be cool to take this little movie we made and just go anywhere it got accepted and just like show it to people.
Yeah. So go as a team, have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the idea of like transitioning from, are you planning on transitioning from short films to full feature films?
That's the end goal, yeah. But for now, it's just more feasible to keep making short films.
Yeah. And
learning more about everything. That's kind of my goal right now, is just keep making short films and keep learning.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what I need to do before I make anything like a big feature film. I would like to learn a lot more.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be like underprepared for anything.
Right. And it takes so much time to like make full-length films, and like you can get a lot more reps in with different concepts and different scenarios that you might have to encounter when you do like bigger production things. So yeah, like doing short films, like you'll probably be able to get more knowledge quicker, than committing to like a long one and then after 2-3 years you make the next one and like
it's also just like a money thing. Like if I had the budget for a feature right now, I would probably do it. It's just like they're really expensive to get like a really like well shot, like well done one that doesn't look like it was like made on an iPhone or something.
Yeah.
Which, not to sound like a snob, it's just like you can notice the difference.
So true, yeah.
And like
so
I just
true.
yeah.
Yeah, Chris came on a couple of episodes ago, and he has this really nice camera that we use for a second shot.
Oh, nice.
And, like the other shot, like my face shot, and like the the light shot was just on my iPhone, and you can notice the difference like so easily.
Oh,
like
wow.
it's night and day. But yeah, what kind of camera are you guys using?
The DP has a Blackmagic, I think it's 6K or a 4K.
Oh wow.
I believe it's the 6K maybe. Yeah, it looks really nice.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried because, not about her camera, but like that was one of the things before I met those guys that I was worried about was like the camera quality. Because I had been watching other short films and like, I guess I'm just like a quality, like a picture quality snob or something. Because like I just can't get past it sometimes, like how rough it looks. Like
Yeah.
it literally just looks like an iPhone like 12 or something, and it's just like, God, man.
Yeah. Have you seen Bo Ari Aster?
Oh yeah,
It's
Bo's
like-
Afraid.
Or not the movie, but it was like
Oh.
a short film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was watching that and like watching you could tell like the storytelling is there and stuff like that, but like the image quality really took me out of it.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get invested, like if the image isn't good.
Yeah, it's so completely different. And then there's cases where like Damien Chazelle, who did like Whiplash and La La Land and all them,
Yeah.
he got Whiplash made by doing it as he took a section of it and made it a short film to sell studios on it. And that one looks really good. I think maybe he had access to something a bit nicer. Which also, that's one thing that kind of irks me is like when you go to where you watch certain festivals, like or like the Oscar-winning short films, they're usually made by somebody who has like an in with TV people or like one of them that was nominated this year. She's been working in television for like 20 years, I think.
Oh.
And like she has access to all these really nice cameras and equipment, and I'm like, yeah, I assume you could shoot it in 5 days because like you have a crew and like, you have like this giant crew and you have unlimited days and like all this nice equipment and stuff. I no wonder it looks great and it took 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it reminds me of like Formula One, and I don't like watch Formula One or anything, but I know that it's really expensive to get the cars, and like the barrier to entry to even get a chance to drive one of those things is so high. You gotta have so much money and sponsorship going into it. So like, just trying to get into the film industry without the equipment is just like a constant battle of like, how much can I do with like so little, and like how can I get a favor from somebody to use this piece of equipment and like things like that. It's like guerrilla style, yeah.
It's been really easy though, because like I said, like Ari and Jack know what they're doing because they work on so many sets. Like,
Yeah.
he knows exactly what he's doing with sound because he makes music and he like goes to school for it, and
Yeah.
like he just knows what he's doing. She knows what she's doing. So I haven't luckily run into any issues yet where I'm like, oh, we don't have this thing,
Oh, that's
or
good.
we
That's
don't
really good.
like, I can't do this shot because we don't have this. Like, she just knows how to move the camera. So,
Yeah.
so luckily I haven't run into that yet.
That's good.
Yeah, I've been very thankful for that.
Yeah. Have you ever considered going to film school? Is that something you're interested in, or is it something you want to skip?
I don't think I'm gonna do that. I've heard a lot of really great directors say that you can learn pretty much everything by being on a set and like making your own movies. So I'm just gonna go that route with it and just keep being proactive about learning and like always listening to people who know more than me, which I think is important.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people say they go to film school because it gets you access to equipment, which I totally get. Like I heard Spike Lee say that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Like his whole generation, he was like, we all went to film school purely because they have all the equipment you need.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. The equipment wasn't nearly as like commonplace back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody had an iPhone. But so when did you sort of get this passion for filmmaking? So this is your like first short film, but like before that, leading up to it, what kind of was going on?
Um, I've always really loved movies, like going back to when I was a kid. My grandfather loved movies, and he had this insane collection of like tapes and DVDs from over the years. And I'd always watch really great movies with him because he loved like Clint Eastwood and all the westerns and stuff. So he'd show me like Hang 'em High or like Outlaw Josie Wales or something, and then I also had movies like Ghostbusters or something that I would just watch over and over again, or Toy Story or something like that. So I always just, my free time always was just kind of spent watching movies, and I just kind of never got out of that. And then there came a point where I was out of college, and I was like, I have a degree in criminal justice, and I was like, I just don't want to use it yet.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to just regret not trying.
Yeah.
So I decided I was going to move, and then COVID happened, and I was like, oh shit. So now I got to like figure out how to work around that. And then I eventually moved in like 2020, which was like still the peak of the pandemic. So that was like a horrible time to move here. But I just wanted to get out. Like I just needed to see something other than New York, and like I figured I'd just move out here and give it a try.
Yeah.
And, like I could have done it in New York too, but
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I would have given up a lot easier if I was so close to home. Because I would have only been like 4 hours from home if I went to New York City.
Yeah.
And I feel like I for sure maybe would have given up. Because like I'm sure, without getting into your personal life, but like it's just life, like just all the stuff that comes up, like finances and like just being an adult.
Right.
Like everything that comes up, like it just gets annoying sometimes, and you're like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would have done that if I didn't come to LA. So I just
You feel like coming to LA gave you like a push and like I'm out here, I have to do it now type of thing?
yeah, because I felt like I was like by doing that, it was like a declaration to myself that I wasn't gonna just give up on it.
Yeah.
Because I
It's like when a rapper gets a face tattoo.
yeah, it's like a dedication thing. You're like, well, I can't like go be an accountant now.
Right.
But yeah, like I just always really loved movies, and I had a point where I thought about like maybe being an actor or something. That was like the initial way in, but then I was like, I just got really into the behind the scenes of movies.
Yeah.
And I got super into, I've always been in creative writing and stuff, and I've always done really well in that. And I had a professor one time who told me that after a paper she read that I wrote, she said like a note on it that said something like, you should write a movie or something like that. And then that kind of like, I was like, I really like movies a lot. Maybe I should actually try it.
Yeah. What age was this?
I think I was in college.
Oh, college.
Yeah, so I was like 18.
Wow, okay.
But yeah, she was.
So like right before that, you were just envisioning like becoming an actor first, and then that sort of was the pivot to where you're like, I could just go make a movie right now.
Yeah, kind of. I was initially thinking about acting, just because like I just figured that was like how you got into movies. I didn't really know anything like about how to get into it.
Yeah.
So that's also why I didn't go the route of becoming an actor, because I didn't have like an insane amount of want to be one. So I was like, that's not the way to go.
So you always kind of had this respect for the people behind the scenes, over like not over, but like you were more interested in the people behind the scenes than the actors growing up, like watching movies?
I was totally all in on all of it. It's just like my like I guess what I really wanted to do was more behind the scenes. Like I really just love like the whole process of like getting an idea and making it a reality, like building a crew and then working with everybody to just like make this insane thing
Yeah.
that people get to go watch.
Yeah.
So, and like all the little details that go into movies, like getting to have input or like create all those things, I just thought that was so cool. Like watching Spielberg, like on the behind the scenes of like Jurassic Park, just like how he was moving the camera and telling people to like how he wanted the shot to look, and then how he was working with people that like created the T-Rex and all that. Like I just thought all that stuff was so cool.
That's incredible.
Like creating the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got into like wanting to be a director and all that, because I just had more of a love for wanting to do that than acting. And I have that respect for actors where I'm like, if you're not all in on that, you shouldn't do it just to do it. Because one, you're probably not going to end up doing that good. And it's just going to be like a waste of time. And there's people who do want to do that, and they should do that.
Right.
Like there's just different levels of like love for it. Like I'm sure there's actors who don't have an entire interest in being behind the camera because they just love the art of acting.
Yeah.
So like I have one friend who's an actor. He's just like, I don't have an inkling to write a script. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
So I'm just not gonna.
Right.
Whereas there's a lot of people who will write a script and it's just because they want their idea to be what they're acting in or what they want to be made. And a lot of times it's not good because they don't really care about the writing.
Yeah.
They think that like, oh, I can write a script too. And it's like people who get into music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what were you saying about music?
Oh yeah, I was just saying like I'm sure you've seen this, people who are like, oh, I'm gonna be a rapper, and then it's like the worst thing you've ever heard because they don't actually care about it. They just see like the glamour of what it can be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. No, yeah. But that's really cool that you just sort of just took it upon yourself to write a script, because like grammatically speaking, like it seems like very tedious to sort of like learn how to write a script and to write like what's going on in the scene versus the dialogue and everything. Like it's not just like writing a book. There's a lot more. There's a different style that you have to like describe everything. Like how do you learn that as an amateur? Or like without going to film school even?
I guess the only way that I've really been able to is you just have to read as many scripts as you can. That's what I've been doing. That's how I first got into writing, where I was like, I need to learn how to do it. So I just searched up like my favorite movies, but then I just put like script after it. And I just found the script of any movie I wanted.
Yeah.
And I just read it. I'd read the whole thing and just see how it's like formatted. And you just kind of go from there. You just kind of have to start doing it and learn along the way.
How did that change your perspective on movies? Like once you read the script from it, for like a movie you've seen already, like did you see it in a different light?
Yeah, there's a couple. It showed me that when I first started reading scripts and learning about it, it showed me that like so much, and now making a movie, so much can change like in the moment. Because the script can be one way, but then you get to the day of shooting or you're in the moment and you're like, actually that doesn't really work that way, or like maybe the actor like says the line different just because it comes out naturally that way, and that works so much better. Like there's so much that changes because there's, like you said, like it's sometimes totally different. Like there's certain movies that you read the script and like the dialogue is like almost entirely different because you find out that the guys just like improv that day or something.
Yeah.
And they just kind of kept it in they kept the scene, but they just like improv the dialogue or something. And it's like anything can change. Like that's why if you look up any movie, there's usually like probably 10 or 12 drafts at minimum of a script because there's like 15 different, like, oh, we thought of this line we're going to add in, or like we thought of this way we're going to do this differently, or there's this scene we're adding in. Like so much changes constantly.
Yeah. And
So-
did you find that to be the case in your project?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the ending, like the very ending has been the same, but that final scene has changed like 3 times. And there's a couple other scenes that I've changed a few times too, and like made the dialogue better, or just like put a different idea in that I liked better, or like somebody else liked better, or something like that. So yeah, everything just Harvey Keitel just said this to Sam the other day. He was like, you gotta be open to improv. You gotta just like be able to think on your feet and then trust your instincts and all that. So I found that to be very true.
Yeah.
Like the script is there for a reason, and I follow it, and I want people to follow it, but I'm completely open to anything changing in the moment if it works for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm really excited for that to come out. Like like I've never known somebody personally who like makes movies. Like, so that's really cool. And do you plan to like release it on YouTube, or are you gonna like hold it to the festivals before you like, post it anywhere?
I'm gonna do the festivals first and see how that goes, because I know that for some festivals you can't have it online.
Yeah.
Like you have to only be submitting to festivals. You can't be showing it online, or like I could send people a private link or something, or like a hard drive or something like that, but I can't like post it for public viewing.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that is, but I kind of get it.
Exclusivity.
I think it's just they don't want people just watching it before they go to the festival or something. Like they don't want them watching everything that's at the festival before they go, because then nobody will go.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. You want to have that like live reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you imagine is sort of like the timeline of it coming out?
I'm gonna try to get a lot of what we have left to do done in like November. In December. So I'm hoping that we're done shooting, and then I have to do like editing and all that. So I'm hoping like maybe January. Yeah. Hopefully I can start
than I
something.
expected. That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it comes along that way.
Yeah.
I don't have much left to shoot, so hopefully it'll go that way.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Is it going to be kind of sentimental, like rapping? Your first ever short film?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I think it'll be really weird, because it's been really weird actually making a movie, because you just kind of think about it so much.
Yeah.
But it's been weird actually making something that I wrote.
Yeah.
And seeing all these people killing it and all that.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool.
That's awesome. Are you all gonna have like a rap party?
Yeah, I haven't talked about it with them yet, but I'm sure we'll do something.
Yeah, you gotta do something to celebrate it. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming on, Kyle, and sharing your thoughts on film and everything like that. I was super excited for this today. I was telling my girlfriend yesterday, like we watch movies like every single week at the theater, and like we just love going to the movies. It's like one of the most magical things. So yeah, like it's something I'm really interested in and a huge fan of. So like, thank you so much for shedding some light on like the insider perspective on it as a filmmaker. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, dude. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right, Kyle. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do you want me to plug your Instagram, or you prefer to keep that private?
No, it's okay. I don't. It's private. I don't really have anything on there.
All right, he's gonna be mysterious until his first film drops, and you better believe that I'm gonna be posting that as soon as it's publicly available. So, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man. That was awesome.